Hello, Abimbola Awotesu here. Um, I've taken a brief hiatus from my videos just because I was going through a period of stillness and I don't always have something to say. And, I believe that I should only speak when I feel impressed to speak. And so, me coming on and talking about different things that go on in life, in my life, and through my experiences, is not something that is a constant like outpouring. It has periods. There are seasons when I have something to say, and there are seasons when I'm just silent. And I have broken my silence because I have something to say, and I feel like I have a message of encouragement that I would like to share with you. We all know what's going on in the world right now with the crisis, the pandemic, the pestilence, however way you want to describe it. And a lot of people are living in fear and anxiety, and it's beginning to, in a sense, reveal the content of people's hearts. You have people all over the world, from different parts of the world, who have their own perspective on what is going on. And that's cool, because we're all different individuals and, we see things differently. But I want to encourage you, and I want you to know that regardless of whatever is happening, you can find strength and you can find protection in the goodness of God and the goodness of the universe. And I'm not here to speak to just Christians or Muslims or Hindus or whomever. I'm here to speak to anybody and everybody because we're all humans and we all have emotions that run deep, you know. It's a period of reflection, I would say. And the thing with me is I always try to look for the silver lining in every situation because there is always something good that must come out. There is always a lesson to be learned in every challenge, in every situation, in every crisis. There is always a lesson to be learned. There is always something that you can take from that situation that will make you a better human being, a more conscious human being, a more intentional and deliberate human being about your life, about the people around you that you love, about their well-being, about their care, and about your community. So, to cut a long story short, I woke up this morning with a very strong impression, and I said I will share my impression with you. I woke up with the feeling, obviously, with this whole COVID crisis, but the thought and the message that came to my mind this morning was gotten from the book of Revelations in the Bible for those who practice Christianity. Revelations chapter 21. God talks about creating a new heaven and a new earth. And in all of this, that is the impression that I strongly have, that in this crisis, God is using this crisis to heal the world, to transform the world, to heal our earth. We've taken a break and a pause from the frenzied day-to-day activities of life on earth. And I believe that our planet is in some way healing. In spite of what is going on, the birds are still chirping. Nature seems to be taking a break from human activity. And I still see so much beauty in nature and throughout life. And I know that all is well. All will be well. Revelations 21, I'm not going to read the whole chapter because there are 27 verses in the whole chapter, but I'll read a few chapters that I really want to speak on and kind of like bring to our consciousness. It starts out by saying, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. Out of the ashes, out of the sorrow, out of the fear, out of the paranoia, out of the pestilence, out of the pandemic, God is bringing a sense of renewal. He's bringing a new day. He's bringing a new dawn. His kingdom from heaven is descending to earth. God is coming down from the kingdom of heaven to the kingdom of earth to inhabit and to stay and to reside with his people on earth. Through revelation and through going deeper in God and searching for answers in my spiritual walk, I have come to realize that when people talk about the rapture, they talk about God destroying the earth and, destroying all the evil and, someone will be left behind and someone will be taken in the sky and all that stuff. I just feel that a lot of times when people talk about the rapture, I feel that they don't really understand what God is trying to say. God is a merciful God. He's a kind God. He created the earth and human beings. He's not a God that revels in destroying. He's not a destructive God. So I personally do not believe that God is going to destroy the world, and people talk about the end times and the end of the world, and they make it seem like it's going to be some apocalypse where, fire will wipe out the whole earth. I do not believe in that. I believe that God is going to establish his kingdom upon the earth, and he will rule and reign forever upon the earth. And yes, there are disasters that happen in the world. There are fires, there are hurricanes, there are floods, there are pestilences, there are pandemics that God allows to happen, but it doesn't mean that he hates humanity and he's this judgmental, angry God sitting on his throne and pointing fingers at sinful people and looking for faults and flaws in all of us. He's a merciful and a kind God, and his mandate is to establish his kingdom upon the earth. And once we understand that, we don't have to live in fear or paranoia or a misunderstanding of the scriptures. We can live with hope, with love, and with a refreshed, new, ever-growing understanding of who God is and the universe, the kindness and the goodness of the universe. Another verse that really stuck out to me in this chapter 21 of Revelation was chapter 8. I'll start out with verse 8. I'll start out with verse 7 and then go into verse 8 because there's a message I want to send out through these two verses. Verse 7 says, He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, the unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Now, the part that really sticks out to me in this verse is the beginning of verse 8, where God says, But the fearful and unbelieving. And then he talks about other people, but other kinds of abominations. But I just want us to focus on those two, the fearful and unbelieving. During this pandemic, there have been so many different ridiculous conspiracy theories that keep flying up and down all around. And it's gotten to the point where it's like people just need to take a breather and calm down. These conspiracy theories that are flying up and down about, the end of the world, God is destroying the world, blah, 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 blah. They are not born out of love. They are not born out of understanding. They are not born out of a consciousness of God. They are born out of fear, paranoia, and suspicion. And those are all negative emotions. They are not positive emotions. They are not of God. So people need to calm down. Please, this is an admonition. Calm down with all your ridiculous, unverified conspiracy theories, because they don't even help. They even make you lose your credibility when you start sending videos and stories that you can't even verify. and they only create frenzy and fear and panic. That is not of God. So let us stay focused on God's word. Let us stay focused on his peace. Let us understand that we are going through, yes, an unprecedented time in the history of humanity and mankind and the earth, but we're going to make it through. We're going to make it through, and we're going to come out stronger on the other side. What are the lessons you are learning during this period? As you're holed up in your home, as you're isolated, as everybody is technically being quarantined in their own home, self-imposed quarantine, what are you learning? What are you building? Are you building your mind? What are you doing with your time? That is what matters. That is what will count, and that is what will determine your results after this crisis. Peace, love, everybody stay safe, and understand that the universe is kind, and we will get through this and come out stronger on the other side. Dear Abby.